Here we go. All right. Yeah, here we go. Our volume should be good. I don't know why we can't hear that, but that's rocking, isn't it? Hey, what's going on, you guys? Nice to see you again. Just when you thought college football couldn't get more exciting, things start to play themselves out at the midpoint. Real ones rise, pretenders stop contending. Our show plays out with some spontaneous direction, action, all kind of shit. The top games review for week 7 of the NFL tonight, boys. Impacts of the we were going to talk a little impacts of the NIL, but here's the issue. The guy who wrote the show is at his foundation meeting tonight. Good thing I texted him this morning to find out where he was going to be. But we are going to talk some college stuff. I think there's some pretty cool stuff to talk about with college football. And then we'll finish up with our week 8 picks. And next week's show will be a special one. We're going on location next Wednesday. So that's going to be a fun show to do. No one's going to want to miss that one. What do you think?
Nope.
No.
I'm not going
to miss
it. Yeah. Hey, my guys, tonight, this part of the Barbershop Crew is able to make it. T-Sizz, Coach Noobs, what's happening, fellas?
Taco Tuesday. Let's go.
Yeah.
Hey, I love Tuesdays now because it's scheduled. It's penned in. I'm here. But I love you guys so much. I'm gay. I sacrificed a lot. The Doghouse in Kentland's celebrating his 13th year. They're giving away pounders and a shot of JMO for $3.13. Man, what am I doing on the podcast?
On a Tuesday night?
Tuesday night.
We should have went there and did the show, huh?
Yeah.
Damn.
Dang.
That would have been fun. That would have been fun. Hey, next Tuesday's Halloween. We can do a show Tuesday night, Halloween too, if you want to. We can literally do a live show in my driveway while I hand out candy. We'll have a nice fire going, drinking some Fireball. Here, kids. Oh, wait, that's for your parents.
We wouldn't be handing it out. We'd be whipping it out like we're on the fire truck coming through town.
I love Halloween. You guys like Halloween? It kicks off the holiday season for me. I honestly love the month of October. It's like one of my all-time favorite months, and I'm not really sure why, but I playing football back in the day as a kid, even coaching, I always enjoyed the month of October. And then I know what's ahead. I know November and December is just fun as shit.
Yeah, because you have to go to the dentist. I'm so ugly, I don't need to buy a mask.
Yeah.
I think the weather change, seeing the leaves change. I love that. The crisp air, definitely. It kind of separates October, and I love, like you said, the Halloween, dressing up, all the fun activities at school. Definitely a good time of year.
You know what? You're right, Mike. And I know Terry has to appreciate this. School's pretty fun at this time of year. Like as a teacher, I enjoy the fall. I don't enjoy the winter months with those kids. If I could just teach from home during the winter months, then go back in March, I'd be happy as hell.
I think what's neat about being at the high school levels, the kids are still kids at this point. They still want to celebrate those things, and they dress up and they act goofy and silly about it, but they're still kids, and that I think that's what you still do that. It's fun. Like I
read this thing the other day. It said, when that teenage kid comes at your door, knocks at your door to get some candy, give the kid candy. Don't give the kid a hard time, because he could be out doing some other dumb shit like doing drugs or drinking or raising havoc, So let the kids be a kid. I actually asked my students today in a couple of my periods how many of you are planning on going trick-or-treating next week, and I was surprised. I really was surprised how many kids are like, hell yeah, free candy. I was like, yeah, I'm down. I get it.
Was that on a Google survey, or did you just ask him?
No, I just asked him.
Was that an exit ticket? Did you give him credit for that?
I did give him credit for it. It was an exit ticket. I had it in my
That's
canvas.
mental health and wellness.
It is. That's what I think. That's what I think. Hey, we all need some.
He says he's on it. He knows all the tricks.
He should be an admin, don't you think?
No,
he'd be
he should be an admin, no question about it. Hey, what did you guys think of football this past weekend? There were some some pretty good games at the college level and the pro level. PSU and OSU didn't disappoint. Actually, I was extremely pleased. Last Tuesday, Terry, at our school, our principal has us wear like college T-shirt Tuesday, it's called. And one of my kids a couple years ago, she went to Ohio State. She's there now, but she got me a nice Ohio State sweatshirt. So I wore that last Tuesday. Shows where my love is for Penn State.
Wow.
Nice.
Listen,
they struggled.
College football, yeah, some of those games were really exciting, but for NFL, that's why I never pick make my picks sober. I think I was like 4-13 last week, and it was it was hideous. It was an upset. We talked about that last show about the fixes, and those scores were just ridiculous. And some of the calls, I couldn't watch them.
It's honestly hard not to get pissed off at officiating, though.
It's
like it really is, because they can go watch instant replay and see what the hell's going on, and they still make bad calls. How do you do that? Like, I don't understand that. How do you have that luxury of overturning a call and you still blow it, and it impacts the game half the time? And
it's ironic the two biggies were in AFC North. With the Steelers and the Browns, the Steelers, and then the Browns call in the end zone there with Hunt fumbling it. Oh, let's give him a touchdown.
Yeah. Well, you know what? I'm just tired of hearing about the Browns, and I'm tired of hearing about Myles Garrett. I was looking at numbers between Myles Garrett. I know Noob sent us out something, but I was looking at numbers between Myles Garrett and TJ Watt. Okay. And I don't even put Myles Garrett second, guys. I put Micah Parsons second at this point. I think Micah Parsons he's at a different level than Garrett is. And I don't know. I find it hard to understand how the NFL can promote Myles Garrett. I know, Terry, did you send me this tweet? Somebody sent me a tweet today. Maybe it was Noobs of the NFL. The NFL, literally, I went on their Twitter, on their X handle, and literally they're promoting Myles Garrett.
Yeah.
Like, it doesn't make sense to me. Here's a guy who ripped somebody's helmet off and tried to hit him over the head with it, and they're promoting him to be player of the year. Like, where's the sanity behind that? I don't get it. I don't get it. So, Noobs, what game do you like this weekend? Because you've been telling me about it all week.
So, I will say I watched most of the Penn State game, and I was really disappointed with their offense. Like, they look so flat and unimaginative. It just looked boring, and Ohio State locked them down. The Ohio State defense is pretty legit. So watching that, I thought it was good. Florida State was fun to watch with Duke. They gave them a little bit of a test. They battled them a little bit. What was the other one? Clemson game. How about that game? That was fun. Did you guys see that?
Yeah, I watched some of that.
Clemson game was great. So we watched a little bit of that also. Big weekend for our family. My brother got inducted into the Gaithersburg Hall of Fame, so that was kind of cool.
Congratulations to the Newbizer family.
Yeah, that was pretty neat. So we got.
Are you
my
in
cousin,
there, Mike?
Yeah, they inducted me last year. So my uncle Fred was coach there for 40 years plus, I guess, and so he's in. My cousin Jimmy, my cousin Doug, and then myself, and then my brother Dave. So it was pretty exciting. Yeah, it was pretty cool.
Family affair.
All for football or what?
Football and track.
Okay.
We all threw the shot put and discus. So
Noobs, what was your farthest throw in the shot?
I was like 53.6 or something like that, I think. Not great. I wasn't as good in the shot. How about you?
54. I broke 54.
That's impressive.
I did 21 shots on my birthday. That's my.
I got to go to states, and to get to states, you got to go through the WPIAL. And on my journey, I threw against Bobby White, who played for the San Francisco 49ers. Mm-hmm. I threw against Timmy Manoa, who played fullback for the Browns. It was crazy. Like, the other 5 dudes played Division I football, and then there's little short, fat, stubby me out there throwing with those dudes. But, we were all high school kids at the time, and it was fun as hell. I mean, I came in 6th out of the 6.
Yeah.
But the other 5 dudes threw 60 feet.
Isn't that nuts?
It was insane.
Yeah. I threw against a guy like that.
At that time.
Yeah, for that, it was good back then. I threw against a guy named Matt Dyson who played for Michigan and then played in the NFL for a little bit.
Tight end, right?
Defensive end.
Oh, okay.
But he threw like 60 plus in the shot, 170, mid 170s in the discus. I mean, he was really good, and not anything close to the record holder, but man, that guy was legit.
Hey, Mike, you had a couple really good kids at Wooten when you were coaching track. I remember that. A couple of big boys.
Yeah, we had some good guys, man. Jared threw in the 50s. He won the state championship. And
yeah, he threw mid 50s. I remember that boy.
Yeah, pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool. And then he had some guys at QO, and Sean Stanley back in Gaithersburg was incredible. So there's been some good throwers. Really good throwers in our area. Yeah.
I always loved coaching track. I love the shot put. I like the shot put better in discus because I was built more for the shot put. At my high school in Western PA, we threw the javelin too, which was amazing to watch guys throw the javelin. Now, my one buddy, John Kinnaman, was pretty good at it.
What?
You don't want to take a job as a javelin catcher. That's not the job for you.
Yeah. No.
Make sure Hayden knows that if anybody offers some good money for that.
Hey, first of all, I think my grandma still has his shot put ball somewhere in the house.
It's a big iron ball.
Second of all, if you are a sports fan, you just go to all these different sports. It's incredible the technique in what you guys are talking about. And just like, my son just started wrestling or did wrestling and just all these different sports. So, you got the big 3, baseball, basketball. Well, Watson wouldn't say baseball, but basketball, football, lacrosse, soccer around here. But you go to other sporting events, venture out, students, parents, go see a different sport. And I don't know, it just opens your eyes up to the technicality of it and the awesomeness of everything that's involved other than, what we're raised up watching football on TV. Because a lot of these things are not showcased and highlighted like they could get some attention to. ESPN shows the same thing. But that was what was cool over COVID. They were showing
cornhole.
I'm not talking about that, but it is really neat.
Not that kind of cornhole, right?
Hey, I think it's great for athletes too.
They need to. Yeah.
You're working different muscle groups. You're doing different movement patterns. I think it's really good for you as an athlete. Hey, Mark, real quick before we get on to the next thing, game of the weekend. We talked about the Pitt Wake Forest game, and I kind of had to celebrate a little bit here. But it's pretty controversial there at the end with Pitt quarterback Velo, or how do you say that? French?
We'll have to get what's his name, our guy from former head coach down at Bullish to tell us how to say that because
Pat,
because that was his man. He loved that kid. We were messaging back and forth, and he just said, "Look out, Pitt, because you're getting a real one."
Yeah, so, he sounds like a fine wine. Sounds like a fine wine.
Yeah.
So anyway, the controversy was that he slid for the first down, but he started his slide just before the yard line to make, and so they called him short and Wake Forest got the ball back and went down and scored with 7 seconds on the clock and won the game.
I thought that was I didn't know that rule. I did not. I thought it was when you hit the ground, not when you start hitting the ground. I mean, the kid could have ran it out of bounds. He'd have been perfectly fine. No one was going to hit him. He could have ran it out of bounds.
That's where your knee is. It's where your knee hits, right?
No,
not when you slide.
The ball when you start to slide, where the ball is when you just initially start to go back and start your slide.
If you have the ball back here and you're sliding up here, it's where the ball is.
Mm-hmm. Yep, and it's because defensively you're asking those guys to pull up and not hit somebody, so it just kind of makes it fair defensively.
It was a tough rule for me to understand because I really had to think about what you were telling me, and it makes sense because they're a defenseless ball carrier now. So as soon as they go into motion to slide, and that rule is probably being more enforced than ever after Kenny Pickett faked the slide against Wake Forest.
Yep.
So I guess they kind of got Pitt back on that one. But that's a great point, Mike. I'm glad you said that. As a Pitt fan, I was a little annoyed at that, but I still think they played much better under this guy than what they played under Jerkovic. And I honestly don't understand what happened to the Jerkovic kid. I mean, he did well at Boston College for 3 years after he transferred out of Notre Dame. And he just looked like a lost soul out there for Pitt the first 5 games, just lost.
It's really weird. I saw they ranked all the quarterbacks in college football. This was like 2 or 3 weeks ago when he was still playing.
Yeah.
He was 135 out of 135.
Jesus.
That's how bad he was. How bad is that?
That's horrible. I mean, you're coming out. This is you started for 3. He started 3 years at BC, right?
I'm
or
not
2
sure.
years. Whatever.
At least 2.
I'll never forget, Terry, the one of the recruiters from BC came in, 2 years ago, Mike? Mm-hmm. And we were talking about Jerkovic. Yeah, it was 2 years ago. It was before his last year. And he really praised the hell out of Jerkovic. He said, this guy's primed to go to the NFL. He's big, he's strong, he can run, he throws a good ball, he's smart. That's not the guy I watched play for Pitt. Not even close. Yeah. Not even close. So, yeah, I mean, a big shout out to Wake Forest for winning that game. Pitt's buried, and I don't think they can make a bowl game now because they're 2-5, I believe it is. So they're going to have to, maybe win. I don't know if they can win out, Mike. They got Florida State next week.
Florida State looks really good.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep. So it's kind of scary as a Pitt fan to see where they're headed here, but it is what it is.
Where's Narduzzi contract-wise? He's good, right? He's safe.
He's
for a while.
Good. He signed a 10-year contract like 3 years ago.
Good.
I like him.
Narduzzi. Yep, I like him.
I like him. He's personable and he's honest and he's upfront. He's not trying to sell you bullshit, and I think that's why I like him more than anything. He doesn't come in there trying to sell the kids bullshit.
Yeah.
And we've seen that. We know that firsthand. So
yes, we do.
All right. So some spontaneous reactions, guys. I didn't even get to it this week because I knew we were going to go down this road. But our girl from Northwest, I do want to talk about this. Our girl, she graduated. It'll be 2 years now. Kayla DiCello, gymnast. She was a backup and alternate at the last Olympics, and she's vying for a spot at the next Olympics coming up next summer in Paris 24, I believe it is. She went and won the Pan Am Games all around this past weekend. First American to do it since 2011. Individual all around Pan Am Games, which is a huge, huge accomplishment. We talked about this last week. We talked about there it is.
There she is. Yeah, there she is.
She's the nicest kid.
Did she graduate?
She graduated
20. So how old is she? 19, 20?
She's probably turning 20 here pretty soon.
Okay.
Yeah. Yep. She walked away from Florida for a year, at least a year, the next year, so she could get ready for the Olympics. So I hope she makes one of those spots. I know she'll be an alternate, but I would love to see her make one of those spots. I actually interviewed her a couple of winters ago when she was in high school, and then I actually I saw her every day. She'd come by and say hi. I kind of developed a friendship with her, and she's just a great kid, and she worked her ass off. Like, that girl would get up at the crack of dawn, go to the gym, do everything she needed to do for gymnastics, and then she'd be at Northwest in the afternoon, dead dog tired, and still take her classes so she could graduate. So that's really commitment to athletics. When kids think they have it tough at some of the stuff they do, like football and things like that, it's nothing compared to what girls like Kayla go through to refine their sport and be the best at that. But
so the all around is 3 or 4 events. She won all those, or is it the average of all that?
I think it's kind of an average. I don't know much about it. I really don't, which is kind of ignorant of me to not know much about it because I kind of follow everything she does. But She did well in the nationals. She did really well in that. She's very good, and she's only 20. What you don't understand is the girl that walked away a couple of years ago at the Olympics, Simone Biles, who's also a really good gymnast, a very good kid. She's 26. So she's got 6 years on Kayla and some of those other girls. Suni Lee, she goes to Auburn. She's like 20 years old, or maybe she might be 21 now. I think she's a year older than Kayla, but she hasn't competed much lately. She's had some health issues in terms of her body.
Huh.
I can see you brewing there. What do you want to ask?
I know you said we didn't want to go down this route, but I'm just wondering, for people like Kayla, how does NIL help or hinder her whenever it's $1 billion industry and about 60% of it, 600 million or so, is going to our top 5 football conferences, and then you have the rest of the pot, only 400 million for the rest of the sports world at college. I wonder how this helps or hinders people like Kayla, who's phenomenal. And is she seeing any of it?
She is seeing money.
How much? And it's probably not enough if she's doing stuff like this.
Well, she told me that.
Yeah, a lot of these Olympic athletes are still technically, well, not a lot, but
amateurs.
A bit of them are amateurs, and they are maybe even high school age. I know she's not now, but 4 years ago she was.
Yeah. I know she said when she used to come in at the second part of the second semester, her senior year, we used to talk a lot. And she told me at that point that she was getting some money when she was still in high school and she had committed to Florida. She was getting something. Yeah. Now she has some stuff she does, like she does Hey Dudes. I've seen her do stuff for Hey Dudes. So she's getting, she's getting out there and getting some money. Now she just won these Pan Am games. She's everywhere now. You see her face everywhere because of winning that. It'll be interesting to see how much she'll prosper on that.
It says she's worth $36,000 for NIL deals. The girl from LSU makes over $1 million, doesn't she?
Yeah, I saw that.
Yeah, but that girl's how old? She's been in the sport how long?
I don't know about that, but I know she's got a bunch of Instagram followers.
Yeah, she's the girl who dates Paul Skeens, the pitcher from the Pirates.
There you go.
Yeah. She's got a lot of people on board there.
And I know we didn't want to go down that route. It's interesting because, like I was saying earlier, there's so many other sports than just the big ones that we know. And you go and you pay attention. It's just like, it blows you away, the skill and the talent. And I think Coach Watson made that point last week about gymnastics, but it is amazing.
Yeah. I mean, it's a tough sport. Bottom line is they've got to be their body fat, their eating habits, everything about them has got to be in prime form. And if it's not, they're not going to perform.
So they're not going to Doghouse for the 13th year anniversary. All right. What's one night?
Well, she did say, when we talked about this, she did say she has her times where she can let her guard down a little bit, but not enough that it's going to be impactful. That just, even like I had Thea LaFawn on, she was a hurdler she works in Montgomery County, but she hurdled for her country in the Olympics. And we talked about, how she approached this stuff. And she said the same thing. She lets her guard down a little bit, but not enough that it's going to be impactful. When she feels herself sliding a little bit in the slightest bit, she has to go back to being super strict and keep herself fit and firm and basically in great shape.
It's like going to a Maryland tailgate. I understand what you're saying. All right. You let your guard down a second. Next thing you know, the guard's taking you down.
Scotty.
And calling me up.
Old Scotty. Scotty got you. You said He said, "Beam me up, Scotty."
And he beamed him up all right. Oh, shit. Hey, let's talk a little NFL, guys. The first game I want to talk about was that Ravens-Lions game. Ravens 38, Lions 6. What the hell happened to the Lions, guys? Are the Ravens that good, or the Lions not ready for prime time yet? I mean, Lamar starting. You're hearing that buzz out there. Lamar MVP. Now that he has his primary target back in full force, and Mark Andrews, what do you think?
It was quite interesting. That's the best I've ever seen him throw. 357 for 3 touchdowns. He was flawless. Probably had a perfect QBR rating.
A lot of it was yak, guys.
I just don't understand like how teams can just be so good one week, like the Dolphins when they score 70, and then they get beat 2 weeks later. I just the up and the down is.
And the Niners.
So
I mean,
weird.
I know
the Niners. Yeah,
the Niners were like the dominant team, and they just lost 2 in a row.
Yeah, how do they lose to Minnesota? Like, it's crazy. And I don't want to like skip around too much, but like this whole thing is just bizarre to me. I can't figure it out.
The Niners left it all on the field against Dallas, and they really beat the snot out of them. But man, that's crazy. We're going to get to them in a few seconds, but let's go back to that Lions team. I mean, they were firing on all cylinders, and they got Gibbs back. They got Gibbs back, and there's no reason they shouldn't have been, firing on all cylinders still. I mean, Goff has been doing well. Amon-Ra has been doing outstanding. I don't get it. I just don't understand what happened there. I know, Mike, you said that those 2 tackles from the Ravens were in prime shape, and they locked down Hutchinson. Is that the difference maker? I don't know if that should be the difference maker.
It was weird. Hutchinson just did not look explosive at all. But we talked about. I think what it was is when they were rushing, they were trying not to force Jackson. They were trying to keep him in the pocket, and that's why it didn't look like they were doing anything. They were just all bull rushing and just trying to keep him contained and have him throw the ball. But he sure did throw it.
And yeah, that their defense, obviously Lions defense giving up 38 points, but also Lions offense, their line gave up 5 sacks and a turnover.
To a team that's not really doing that kind of stuff this year. I know their defense is always considered a strength for them, but they weren't sacking the quarterback a hell of a lot, and they weren't doing things that they had normally done. Again, I looked at those numbers for him. His numbers weren't incredible. There was a lot of yak there. There was a lot of yards after the catch, and you got to give them credit. They were scheming it up to get guys open and let them run.
How much though? Because the highest receiver was Gus Edwards with 80 yards.
Yeah, they spread it out.
Hey, yeah, look at all the guys that caught. I mean, that's what you got to look at. How many guys caught, and kudos to them. Yeah. Kudos to them, and kudos to Lamar. I still say Lamar's on the clock right now because at the end of the day, we all know what happens with Lamar. He's going to get another one of those games. They're going to take that passing game away, or he's going to get a little tight. Maybe he'll prove us wrong this year, but he's going to run and he's going to do that tweak. It always happens.
Yeah, they do have a pretty nice receiving core. It's not. I mean, it's weird to say that about the Ravens, but Zay Flowers is coming into his own as an underneath guy that can really make some moves. Andrews, like you were saying, T-Siz getting healthy is huge. Odell Beckham actually looked pretty good. I thought, didn't you?
Yeah.
This is last year playing football.
He was looking fresh.
Then you got Bateman and Nelson Aguilar. I mean, they're not bad. So that's a pretty good group.
Patrick Carr rumbling, bumbling, stumbling. He caught 2 balls. He looked like brick shithouse coming down the field. They're like, you get him. No, you get him. And
I think Aguilar is a big pickup for them. He's a great possession receiver, and if you can't get it in the hands of Andrews, Aguilar is a guy you can go too short and let him run with it.
Yeah. That's funny about Ricard. He reminds me of Allstott back in the day.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
Mike, you play defense, right?
Yeah.
When you have someone like Lamar, don't you just want to just bust him in half. Like, doesn't that piss you off? Like, you're so close to getting him and just like
you can't.
That's so frustrating.
I played against Charlie Ward, who was pretty quick.
Yeah.
And similar. So, but yeah, you can run as hard as you can. You still can't catch him. There's nothing you can do.
You're so close. You're touching.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What made Charlie Ward so unique? Like, could he plant and go? Was he shifty?
He actually wasn't. He wasn't extremely athletic. Like the guy I played high school with was way more athletic, Mark Maradei. But now he was probably the most athletic quarterback in the country. I know people would probably find that hard to believe, but anyway, I think his whole package. Like if you watch him in basketball, he was a distributor of the ball. Like he made things happen. He played good defense. He made steals. So he did like all the little things, and he had a great idea of where to go with the ball. Just athletic enough to make you miss, and had a great supporting cast. When you have work done behind you, Tamarick Vanover was one of his receivers, who at the time was really good before he got in trouble for doing some unlawful stuff. But yeah, he had a great supporting cast.
But he didn't play in the NFL. I know he played for the Knicks. Did he do anything in the NFL? Okay.
No, he went to the Knicks. You know who he had that was really a badass that people forgot about? William Floyd. Bar none.
Yeah. Bar none.
I hit that guy as hard as I've hit anyone in my entire life. And we both went, boom. And then he went and drove me back like another 2 yards. I was like, oh, my God.
He went on and played for the Niners and had a nice career.
1 year, and then his knee. He tore his knee up.
Was it only 1 year?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure he only played a year, yeah.
He did well that 1 year, didn't he?
Oh, he was great. He was great. And then he got his knee, and that was it. It's sad. He was an amazing football player.
Damn. Let's go ahead and jump on this next game. Giants 14, Commanders 7. Commanders epitomize the definition of inconsistency in the NFL. 1 week, they'll look like they're lights out, challenge any team, playing great football. Next week, it's like, yeah. So, Noobs, besides the head coach, what's this team need to do to stay in the hunt the rest of the season?
They're out. There's no way. They play Philadelphia this week. They have a tough schedule. I don't see them doing much. Now, local guys will say, oh, well, this is their pattern. Ron Rivera, he'll win late in the season. It's not going to happen. Not with this team. Their offensive line is a train wreck. They haven't invested in it. They tried to get Wiley in the offseason. They thought that would be a good investment. That was horrible. Not worked out well. They're just not good and sound up front. They have a quarterback who is leading the league in sacks and may set the record in the NFL for sacks. Yeah. Some of that's on him, but man, a lot of it is scheme in the end. As far as scheme end, his offensive line. I would think you would be able to get him on the edge more and run a little bit more boot, be more conservative, quick stuff. But I feel like Bieniemy is just running an offense that isn't working with what they have. Their offensive line is a train wreck.
Is he trying to run a Kansas City style offense with, Washington style players?
I think, which his receivers are probably okay with it and whatnot, and tight ends, and the running backs are solid, but you can't do it with the O-line. They can't provide the protection. When you watch Kansas City play this past game, they're playing San Diego. They're playing the Chargers, who has a good pass rush. They did a great job of protecting, so Mahomes can sit back there and wait for things to open up. The Redskins or the Commanders can't do that. There's just Sam Howell doesn't have that kind of time.
Yeah, I feel bad too because I think Sam Howell his development is like 1 week he is showing growth, the next week because of the pressure he's regressing. And I listen to a lot of people bitch about Sam Howell because we're here locally, and they're like, no, it's not the quarterback in this instance. It's not because doesn't have the arm or he's not a gutty guy or a good leader. It's the fact that he doesn't have what he needs up front. Look at those running backs. Brian Robinson's a hell of a running back. Mm-hmm. And what's he doing this year?
I think he's all right. He's not.
He's not great though. He's a middle of the pack guy.
Yeah, middle of the pack. Yeah. That's about right.
I'm not naive to think that this is going to change from high school to college to the pros. But when you are not protecting up front, how do you scheme against that defense that's going to sack your quarterback 5-6 times a game?
You get him the hell out of the pocket.
Out of the pocket.
Screen game.
Misdirection.
Draw.
Misdirections, right? Your motions and all that stuff. This is their young investment that they're just throwing to the wolves. I think I saw that too, like 30, 35 sacks already.
It's insane.
Yeah. That's nuts.
He has a chance to break the record.
He's setting Roethlisberger numbers there.
Yeah, he has a chance. I think the record's 70 by Carr, David Carr, down in Houston when they first came on the scene.
David, right?
Yeah, David Carr. I don't know. And then the Giants. I mean, man, I don't know.
Their offensive line's a mess too.
How is but think about what we've been saying though, consistently on the show. We've been talking about all these teams, and virtually every offensive line we're talking about is just trash, except for some of those teams like Houston has a decent offensive line scheme. How about that? How about we go with that? San Francisco,
Philadelphia.
Yeah. But I think it's more the scheme that they're running with those players. I think Bieniemy, and this is just me spitting it out there, I think Bieniemy is going to need some players in terms of a line that fit his system.
I think some of it is talent. Bates was a backup for the Giants. They got him. Dude, his arms are smaller than my arms. I don't lift weights, hardly ever. It doesn't look good. And then
I thought you meant like Tyrannosaurus Rex.
No, long arms. But geez, yeah. I mean, he doesn't look like – looks like he's never lifted weights in his life, and he's a starting offensive lineman. Yeah. It's not good. I mean, his effort looks great, but, man, he just gets overpowered at times. They're just not good. Then you look at Philadelphia, and I wanted to mention this too. Are we going to talk about Philadelphia tonight or no?
Yeah,
I'll wait. Yeah. I'll wait till we talk about Philadelphia.
Yeah. So any other closing thoughts on the Giants, guys? I mean, I'm still waiting for the Giants to have a receiver that makes a difference. I know Waller has stepped up some, but who the hell is their receiving core?
Odell's going to go back and sign that contract for $1.
I don't know
about the money.
I don't know, but I'm going to give a shout out to Rob Smith for supporting the Giants. Rob, you guys got it. Good luck the rest of the year with that offensive line.
I feel for you, Rob. I do.
I do have Waller on my fantasy team. I love Waller.
He's come around. He's come around.
That's the line. I didn't start him. You're welcome. You're welcome. I'll let you beat my ass this week. I'll let you crush me.
Who did you start over Waller?
The Go Dirt from the Eagles.
Oh, God.
Yeah. No
Go Dirt. Yourself.
Rob said no comment. Nice emoji.
Waller's a stud, he said. Yeah, he is a stud.
If he can be consistent too, but the consistency with him is the inconsistency of his offense. It happened in where the heck are they? Las Vegas and New York.
Interestingly, I think if Waller would have stayed with the Raiders, that would have made Devontae Adams continue having a good season, because Devontae Adams has really dropped off. Part of that's Garoppolo, but
I didn't realize he's like 34, something like that, 33.
Who? Devontae is?
I didn't realize he's been in the league that long.
Yeah. He's making big money.
Yeah.
I wouldn't be surprised to see him moved at the trade deadline.
Who would be a good candidate to take a receiver like that? That's going to be
he's only 30.
Kansas City.
Wow. Would they want to give up?
There's no way they would do that inter division like that. There's no way.
I don't know. Whatever Kansas City would have to give up, they got from Miami. And at this point, Kansas City doesn't have a receiver other than Kelsey. I don't nobody else jumps off the page and does anything for them other than Kelsey. You've got bit pieces out there. One week it might be Reese Rice. Another week it might be, I mean, it's bit pieces out there. And I don't know. Mahomes has gotten to the point where he kind of reminds me of Brady where he has no-name receivers now.
Yep.
So he's making them, each week he's creating that facade that these guys are actually good, and they're not.
But
Kelsey's good.
Players are fitting the system. The players are fitting the system. Doesn't matter the name on the back of the shirt. It's the players are working into that system, and they're able to do whatever Reed has them do.
Yeah. So we'll see if Bieniemy can do that with Washington. Let's give him a little time. But Mike, I know you're going to say this because I hear you say this every day. I do think they need to move on from that head coach. I read a ton of shit, and I did read today that the odds-on favorite to get fired in season this year is Ron Rivera.
Well, the concept makes sense. Get rid of Ron. Just pay him off. Good luck with everything. Great time here. Great job. Adios. Because really, we talked about it winning-wise. What has he done? He won 1 year with Carolina, and they were loaded. That was a loaded roster. Very legit across the board. And they didn't even win the Super Bowl. And they had the MVP. They had it all, and it just didn't come together for him. So I don't think he's the guy. I think you got to let him go. Let Bieniemy be the head coach for the rest of the season. Give him a test run, see how he does. If you like it and you think he could do the job, keep him. If you think he's not the guy for us, then move on and get a whole new staff. But either way, it's kind of a win-win. You're giving him a chance to kind of try out for the position. And there are doubters out there. There are people who say, oh, well, he doesn't interview well. He doesn't speak well to the reporters. Who gives a crap about any of that stuff? Like, does he coach well? And does he draw up good game plans? And does he, relate to the players or get the best out of them?
Yep.
So he took Carolina to the Super Bowl with Cam Newton.
Yes, Cam Newton.
Steve Smith.
Who did they beat?
They lost.
Who did they
New
lose
England.
to? I meant, who did they lose to? Okay, New England.
New England.
Yeah.
Yep. And that was a long time ago.
He had Luke, say his name,
Kuechly.
Kuechly at linebacker.
Yep.
He had some dudes on that team. There was a really, really good squad.
Julius Peppers at the end.
The wide receiver who commentates now.
Steve Smith.
Steve Smith.
Yeah.
Greg Olsen.
Yeah. In the backfield, he had the guy that played for the Steelers, Williams.
Stewart.
And
he had Stewart, right? Yeah, he had some dudes.
Yeah.
Really good.
Yeah. They were solid up front too. They could move people. They could move people. So I guess we'll just have to watch now and see how they, I guess we could hashtag Rivera watch.
What do you have to lose if you get rid of him?
I don't know.
Nothing. They're not going anywhere. They're not going to win. Not going to the playoffs. Like, who cares? Give somebody else a chance. Give these guys a fresh start. They are pissed off. Jonathan Allen was pissed off. He was pissed off in the interview. Did you guys see that interview?
No.
He said, I'm sick of losing. I've been here for 7 years. I'm tired of the same old crap. I'm tired of it.
Yeah.
He might have dropped an F-bomb or two also.
God bless.
Hey, they only lost that Super Bowl by 3 points.
Do they have the ring? They don't have it.
It don't matter how many points.
At the end of the day, it's not okay.
And Bieniemy does.
Yeah. Patriots 29, Bills 25. I put this down as a game for us to talk about, not thinking the Bills would look like some trash again. I mean, they have not recovered since they went to London, realistically.
Ooh,
Belichick
hangover.
won his 300th game this past week. I wonder how many were legit, though. Let's be honest on that one. Have the Bills lost the formula to be in the hunt of the AFC? Or do you think they're in a kind of a mid-season slump and they'll get it figured out after their bye week? And what changed? What changed for their winning formula?
Man, that's a lot of good questions. I think everyone has. No, I don't know if there's an answer to that yet. Yeah.
Hangover? Yeah, maybe. But this is the second week back, though, isn't it? Or just the first week? So second week back. They should be okay.
I don't think Allen has really looked like himself, has he?
There's something up with him.
No.
He's thrown, I don't know, has he thrown more picks? He has not as many touchdowns. The offense, I think, is what drove that team.
Yeah.
Pass, and it's just I don't
They
say
have one
it's
receiver.
sputtering, it's coasting or something. It's just not firing on all cylinders.
They have one receiver.
I'm curious how much that's impacting it, and then him saying he doesn't want to be there at the beginning of the year, blah, blah, blah.
Well, with him, I was at a friend's last week, and his brother was there with his wife, and my friend's brother showed me pictures from that London game. He went to the game, and he had taken a bunch of pictures. He was right, like he might have been like 5 rows up from the Bills sidelines. They're Bills fans, and ironically, he had pictures of Diggs just being an ass. Like he was being an ass on the sidelines. And I'm like, what's going on here? He's like, all he did was complain. All he does is complain. He throws fits constantly. And is that what's impacting the team?
I think it has something to say, If you're not getting throw me the damn ball. If you're not getting the damn ball, shut up and keep playing. And I think that's what we're getting to here, right? And they should definitely be beating the teams that they should be beating. They lost to the Jets week 1. They shouldn't have lost. They lost to the Patriots, who are 2-5. They shouldn't have lost. And I would take the loss against Jacksonville. That's pretty legit loss there because Jacksonville. But they should be 6-1 right now.
Yeah, I agree. Totally agree with that. But they're not. And at the end of the day, unless he starts developing another receiver besides Diggs, that's going to that's going to catch a bunch of balls. I don't know. I just can't. They have 2 solid tight ends too. They drafted Dalton Kincaid, who's a really good tight end out of Utah, and I don't feel like they use him enough. Dawson.
He had eight receptions for 75 yards in that game.
Oh, he did in that game?
Yeah.
But still, that's kind of like the tip of the iceberg with that guy.
Right.
He's one of those. He's like a Kelsey. He's like a young Kelsey. You don't expect big blocks out of him, but when he goes on the pattern in the middle of the field, he's going to catch the ball.
He was the number 1 receiver this week because it was tight end appreciation day.
I did not know.
I got you. But how about Mac Jones coming back? Like the week before, he got benched, right? He came back and he threw for 272 yards, 25 for 30. So he had 5 incompletions on 30 passes. That's pretty damn legit.
Jones.
Mac Jones.
Mac and Cheese Jones. Yeah. He's soft.
So he averaged a little over 10 yards per catch and 2 touchdowns. So he got it done. He must have been dinking and dunking a little bit, though. That's a lot. Those are low numbers.
That's their system. That's how Brady made a living. That's how he became a Hall of Famer and won 6 or 7. When he win 7 Super Bowl rings. That's how he did it.
6 in New England and 1 in.
Are the Bills banged up?
I know they had some issues at corner, but I don't know if that's still lingering. That's they're definitely a team to keep an eye on. There's no question about it. Let's move on. Steelers and Rams. How did Pittsburgh put together 21 points in the second half on 3? Well, one of them was the pick that was down at the 6-yard line. Then they took that in.
Opening play.
And then they drove the field twice and they ran it in. That was their first 3 rushing touchdowns of the year. Pickett, Najee Harris, and Jaylen Warren all had a touchdown. Najee looked solid in the first half and then tailed off the second half, but then Warren picked it up the second half. The receiving core, Pickens 5 catches for 107, but with Pickens and Deontay Johnson, like their biggest problem is they need to shut the hell up. Just shut up and play football.
Look,
these people getting Pickens' head so easy. Come on, George, shut up. Play football, my man.
So, Deontay they got that first down on it like a crafty play, and then he's hushing a Witherspoon. They were just picking on Witherspoon all day. That was great. But besides the offense, the defense, will you just freaking start the cornerback? He shut Pikachu down after he came in the game. And what the hell are they waiting for?
Pikachu.
It doesn't make sense to me.
He had 3,000 yards until they put in Junior. Put Junior in, he shuts him down.
It just doesn't make sense to me what they're trying to do there. Even though Dan Moore had a good game at tackle, you guys, I still don't think you sit Broderick Jones after the week he had before. He was the highest graded lineman in his first start for the Steelers, and they sat him. Like, who the hell does that? There's a reason you pick the guy number one. Play him.
I saw that too. Doesn't it make you wonder if we wouldn't have drafted Broderick Jones number one or first pick and got someone else? No, it doesn't make me wonder. What makes me wonder is why aren't you playing this guy more?
Yeah.
Not Dan Moore. Playing Broderick Jones more.
Yeah.
It's mind-boggling.
Yeah, 100%. I agree.
Especially when stats don't lie in that regard.
The eye in the sky don't lie either. And that you can see it. It's crystal clear.
The funniest thing is you guys get so mad about Pittsburgh and they're 4-2. You guys are like, they're the worst team I've ever seen in my entire life.
Mike,
they suck.
Mike, a few years ago, they were 11-0. And they were the ugliest 11-0 team that I'd ever seen, and they barely made it in the playoffs.
We knew the demise was coming.
Washington beat them that 12th game.
Yep. Yeah, and that was the COVID year.
That game, it all went downhill.
It was the COVID year. I thought the funniest thing about this game, and I don't really want to talk much more about it, but I did think the funniest thing was before they played, how George Pickens said, "I hope they put Spoon on me because I used to beat him all the time when we were in practice, and he'd go to the sidelines and they'd have to put somebody else in. I beat him so many times."
Yeah.
And he had a good game. He did have a good game. No doubt about that. So, all right, let's move on. Chargers and Chiefs. Chiefs 31, Chargers 17. Mike, what the hell's going on?
The Chargers are in trouble. Team. Yeah, they're in trouble. They're in trouble. Their defense is awful. I feel like it's coaching. Brandon Staley, I don't think is the guy. They're ranked 31st in the NFL in defense. It's bad. It's really bad. And there looks like a disconnect with Herbert. Like I feel like last year he would have more explosive throws than he does this year. And I don't know if it's part of the protection. I'm not sure what it is, but he just looks he doesn't look comfortable. It looks like there's something off there. I just can't put my finger on it.
And he's got a receiving core. I mean, I know they lost Mike Williams, but
Williams is out. Yeah.
Yeah, but still, they got that Quentin Johnston.
But they don't.
He's not doing anything, is he, Mike?
They don't throw it to Quentin Johnston. And people are going crazy about it. I don't understand what the deal is.
And they got Eckler back. I could see those few games where Eckler was out, that being pressure packed. I could see that because he's such a multi-dimensional player. He's kind of a modern day Marshall Faulk in a lot of ways, in my opinion. So losing a guy like that, it hurts. I don't care who you stick in there as a backup, but at the end of the day, he's got to put points on the board because of how bad that defense is.
The defense is awful. They gave up 424 yards passing to Patrick Mahomes. And I don't know what – I mean, they gave over 400 to Miami. I mean, it's just – they're
talk about rack or yak or whatever you want to call it.
Yeah. Exactly.
He's dinking and dunking. He's
lack of yak.
Yeah.
Who is?
Mahomes. He's not downfield. Like, he's playing West Coast, and that's what they're getting their majority of their yards on.
If that's what it takes.
I feel like they
it works.
They took advantage of Kelsey like deep in the middle, in the deep curl. They took advantage of some things there, and he did a really good job of running away from man coverage and then finding holes in zone coverage.
Hey, how the hell does Kelsey have all that energy?
Well,
he's
drinking that energy drink from Panera.
All I know is he's with that Taylor Swift all the time. He's probably worn down, man. But he is like 30-some. I remember being 30-some. Jesus. Those were the days. Mm-hmm. Oh, I found the quote from I got to tell you this quote, man. I found the quote from George Pickens. He said, "I know they won't want to put Spoon on me. I used to cook him every day in practice till coach would take him out."
Spoonie. Jimmy Spaniel.
Yeah, Spoonie Spaniel. That's a big shout out to Spoonie.
They were talking about the stats. Travis Kelce's numbers when Taylor Swift is at the game, how much greater they are. And Michael Parsons mentioned that in his podcast today about, hey, having that girl up there in the stands watching you kind of adds a little bit to it. Gives you a little more confidence.
It's kind of like playing high school football, huh, Mike? You'd see your girl up there in the stands and you'd step it up.
Yeah. Yep.
Hey, Dennis Rodman, he was getting 50 rebounds a game when Carmen Electra was at the game.
Hell yeah.
That's a good pull.
Yeah. I remember that. I just was reading about just watching something about Rodman and his days with Carmen Electra. Bastard.
Yeah. Hey, so who's right now? Who are the favorites? Do you guys think for the?
And then he married himself. Then he married himself.
Sorry, T says.
That's all right. Who's the favorite for what?
The AFC and the NFC. At this point,
to go to the Super Bowl, you mean?
Like, who do you like? Who do you think's the top team in the AFC and top team in the NFC? You go top two if you wanted to. Like, it's confusing for me. I'd say Philadelphia.
I'm going to say Kansas City's coming around now.
Mm-hmm.
I still think they're beatable, though.
Yeah,
I do think they're beatable. In the AFC, in the NFC.
You would have said the 49ers. You would have definitely said the 49ers before this week.
How about Minnesota?
It got blown up.
How about Minnesota as a dark horse?
Like Grandma Haas's. It got blown up.
How about Minnesota as a dark horse? Would you buy that?
Horse? No.
Why?
When are they going to? I mean, they won this week, but
they've lost too many.
They're too many.
It's early this season. It's a 17-game schedule. You can go 11-6, and I don't know that Kirk Cousins, man. I'll tell you what, he has been impressive. He's been impressive. How you like that? How you like that?
I'm not sleeping on him. Okay.
But and Jordan Addison, that touchdown he had last night where he ripped it right out of that dude's hands, ran in the end zone. That was a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
He learned that over Tuscarora under Vince Ahern. Vince taught him that. They used to work on that in practice, I heard.
Hey, I mean, if the Baltimore Ravens can play like they played last week with the defense and the offense and not just relying on one or the other, I think that they could be the AFC representative.
I will say that Harbaugh looks like a genius now, because usually when they offered him the opportunity to take a bye week after they played over in Europe, and he chose not to take the bye week. They played Detroit, kicked Detroit's ass. They still have a bye week on the shelf to rest up and heal. He looks pretty smart after that.
You mentioned that before. They're able to select when they want a bye week.
They offered it to him, and he said no.
Huh?
He said no.
That's interesting.
I don't know.
Can the Steelers have 2 bye weeks, because they kick ass when they come off of that bye week? I mean, what are they, 11-1 or something?
Don't be surprised if that doesn't come down the road. That's all I'm going to tell you.
Well,
I know they want to push this Super Bowl back to President's Day weekend. I know that for a fact. 18-game
schedule with two preseasons and 2 bye picks, 2 bye rounds, 2 bye weeks. That'd be great.
Yeah, I saw it. Cal fell.
What the hell?
Yeah, it might be a ghost in here. Who knows?
Cal Ripken. Yeah. He's moving around back there.
Cal moved.
He's trying to field a pop fly.
Yep.
Hey, maybe the lights went out in Baltimore. Go see if Kevin Costner's back in town.
Oh, shit. My God. Hey, so we talked about the Niners and the Vikings and that miserable thing. Let's talk about this last game here, the Dolphins and the Eagles, guys. Dolphins and the Eagles. I got a couple friends that are big time Dolphins fans. They're actually kids that played high school football or played for me when I was coaching at Watkins Mill. And man, I didn't get to watch a lot of that game, but I will tell you that he was beside himself. The one dude, he just felt like there were a lot of piss poor calls. And then Mike McDaniel went and put together a highlight tape of all the calls missed. And that
holding. There was some bad holding, really bad.
That was pretty intense.
Interference, right? Interference.
Yep.
Yeah.
It was pretty intense to watch that. And he put that shit. He didn't just send that to the league office. He put that shit on Twitter. He put that on Twitter, and I watched it. Oh, I was like, whoa, what the heck? That was crazy to see. I can't believe the league lets that happen. It kind of goes back to our conversation that we had last week when we talked about, what are the officials doing? They have way too much control. Are they getting paid here to make these things happen?
What was the spread going in? Do you remember? Was it like 3? Were the Eagles getting 3?
I'm not sure what the spread was. They might have been giving 3 because it was in Philly.
Yeah, giving 3.
Yeah. That to me, though, an official can't control a game like that. And it happened, with the Cleveland game. It happened in this game. I mean, there's been several games that the officials have controlled lately that it's very skeptical.
The one that bothers me the most is defensive holding when they don't call it, when it's like obvious defensive holding, when the receiver's totally impeded and they don't call it. I think that really screws up the game.
I get
you
that.
Get a guy like Tyreek Hill running across and somebody just tugs on him, throws off the timing of the route. If they don't call that, that's unjustified, and it really screws things up.
I sent you guys a clip of Robbie Havenstein. Sorry, Robbie, I'm calling you out on this, buddy.
That's the one, yeah.
That the Robbie Havenstein hold on TJ Watt. Could it be more of a hold?
That's the one that bothers me the most, Nude, because the guy's, the neck is.
He literally was across his shoulder, up in his neck, just holding him back. He was holding him back like this.
And he's past him. And I'm not saying it's just on Watt. It's all those DNs. They're blown past that tackle.
Yeah.
They're blown past the tight end, the tackle, whoever's there. And you see it so much. Like, how is that not a hold? What else do they have to do?
Yeah.
And the worst part of all that is the referee standing back there watching that. That's his job. That's his job.
Absolutely.
That's his job. Besides telling you, getting out there and flexing their guns because they're all big as shit now, the refs. But
first down.
Yeah.
That's why Bosa was so mad last year in the playoffs when they lost. He got that 15-yarder because he was getting yanked to the ground every single play, and he's lost his shit. I mean, you can't lose your stuff like that, but man, I understand in some ways. Like, it's got to be frustrating as hell.
That's when he was going into the locker room and that fan gave him a hard time.
Well, he threw his helmet. He threw his helmet and lost. He went nuts. Yeah, he went nuts on the field.
Yeah.
So I going into this game, you thought, man, the Dolphins are going to put up some points. It's shocking to see them only score 17.
Well, it must be.
That's a good defense he played against.
I was going to say Eagles defense is pretty lights out. They,
what kind of was amazing to me though. They kind of hung the blame on Terrell Edmonds, former Steeler, that they signed in a 1-year deal at safety. He was starting at safety. They hung the blame on him so much that they traded him away to Tennessee for their safety.
Wow.
Yeah. I couldn't believe it. Like I was, it just baffled me. Like, okay, your whole team obviously sucked. From that perspective, how are you putting that on one guy like that where you just, all right, he played shitty, get rid of him,
what do you guys think of the tush push? You think that's okay? Do you like it or no? Should they get rid of it?
It's now called the brotherly shove.
Yeah.
Oh, the brotherly shove.
Yeah, I don't know how I feel about that. I don't. You see it in high school, you see it in college, and you see it in the pros now.
You can't see it in high school. Northwest tried it and got a 15 or 10 or 15 yarder.
Yeah.
But what happened?
Okay, so we got clarification on the rules. So we scored, but they called a penalty on it. So what happened was one of our players grabbed and pulled into the end zone. He was in the end zone. He pulled the player into the end zone. You're allowed to get behind him and push him into the end zone, but you can't pull him into the end zone, if that makes sense.
Who is the player pulling?
Are we allowed to say kids' names on TV?
No.
Online?
Tell me tomorrow morning.
I will. You'll like him. He was in our office this afternoon, 7th period. Not the center. Not the center.
He was polling number 1.
He was a guest visitor.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yes. But So I don't know, but the thing is, like, you see other teams try and do it that are not successful.
Like maybe Pittsburgh, who they didn't try the tush push, but they couldn't even QB sneak for a yard. He got down.
He slipped.
Minnesota tried it last night and was unsuccessful also. So do you know why I think Philadelphia is successful? I think it's one player. I think it's Landon Dickerson.
Yeah.
Their left guard. He squats about 800 pounds. He's so powerful. He's strong as shit.
Wow. This is what I like about it. They have that guy right behind him and say, beat us. You know what we're doing. Beat us. Pittsburgh, Pittsburgh try to get creative. They bring Hayward in motion and try to get leverage on it. You're not going to do. I mean, he couldn't do that.
I will say
next time you watch it, go ahead. I'm sorry.
I will say this, and then you could go. I will say the fourth quarter play calling was creative. Like Najee's touchdown, that was creative as shit because there was nobody there. Najee could have walked in.
He missed a lot of holes.
He did miss a lot of holes.
I mean,
did Pickett draw that up?
In the dirt.
I don't know, but I'll tell you what, Mike. When Pickett stands in the pocket, he doesn't look like Kenny Brister. He looks like Kenny Pickett.
And
when he decides to roll, he looks like Kenny Brister.
Oh, that's not good.
Yeah. That's the bottom line. Stay in the damn pocket, kid. Stay in the pocket. Have some faith. So let's talk. Let's move on from the NFL. A little bit of college football to make our picks because we're getting long at the tooth here this evening because there's so much to talk about and Rasheen's not cutting us off, but we still miss him. Tyson Bagent, undrafted Bagent. Yeah. Undrafted rookie out of Little Shepherd University over here in West Virginia, Division II kid. We all knew this was coming with this kid. We all saw the writing on the wall. It was interesting because they said last year on this past weekend, he beat Westchester University, a PSAC school, Pennsylvania's class game. This year, he beat the Raiders. Not that the Raiders are anything special, let's face it, but he beat the Raiders. Good numbers, 21 of 29, 162 yards in the air. He had 24 rush yards, 1 passing touchdown, 97.2 QBR rating. They had 3 touchdowns and a field goal on all his drives. All his drives added up to that, and they won 30-12. Thoughts?
I'm thinking this is the best thing that came out of West Virginia in a long time. You know that clip you sent of that guy with 3 teeth? I thought maybe
he's from Philly.
It says born Martinsburg, West Virginia. Oh, that guy. Yeah. Unbelievable. We love these stories, and I think it's great that they've created competition in Chicago because he wasn't cutting it. QB1
Fields.
And maybe I doubt it's going to spark something in him, but maybe it will. You want to see these guys succeed, these young quarterbacks, but I think this guy's legit.
Imagine if he ends up being the guy. Just an incredible story. Just perseverance, hard work. His dad's a badass. You guys see the interview with his dad,
He's an arm wrestler.
Yeah, so cool.
Wrestling champion.
Really neat story. Really neat story.
Absolutely.
We've been up there. We've been up to Shepherd a couple times to watch some games, and the kid's the real deal. He's legit.
He's got that moxie.
Mm-hmm.
He's got that moxie. Sometimes you don't have to have all the athleticism in the world or, run that 4.3 or whatever. But if you got that moxie, you can get it done. So I was happy for that kid. Hey, underclassmen, Heisman winner, expectations, and they return to school, guys. Is that good or bad? And if they do go back to school, should they get a nice sizable chunk of NIL?
I think you're always going to have pressure on you, and you're going to be the favorite if you're coming back for another year, and that's what comes with the territory.
Yeah.
You got to hope that you're supporting cast. That's the one thing about the NFL. It's not like in basketball where you can kind of carry a team. You're not Michael Jordan. You can just carry a team or something like that. Or for the younger kids, LeBron, I guess. But no, you hope that you can get it done, and the guy's going to get a ton of money. The interesting thing is going to be in the draft. Is he going to stay or is he going to go? Like he has the choice, and financially he'll make more money staying.
I bet you he got a shit ton of money for that commercial. He does that Heisman Trophy commercial.
Oh hell yeah!
I mean, I don't know. Personally, I'm not sold on him. He doesn't have great numbers against top 25 teams. I think he's a little bit more of a head case than they want us to know. Here's something else.
Well, why you say that?
I just
head case.
The whole
I mean, it's a little not ordinary to paint your fingernails,
especially to do it before a game to try and I don't know what he was trying to prove. But
it's signal calling.
Lincoln Riley
pitching
has had 4 quarterbacks essentially. He's had Jalen Hurts for 1 year, but Jalen Hurts was developed under, what's his name down in Alabama. Yeah. And then he's had Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and now this kid. He doesn't have that great of a track record with these guys. He just doesn't. You can say whatever you want to, but I did read again. I always tell you guys this. I've read again today. I think it was today. Apparently, he's kind of sniffing around the NFL.
Lincoln Riley
is. Yeah, Lincoln Riley is.
As a head coach?
Yeah, he's sniffing around the NFL.
I'm going to be pissed if he gets a job before
Bieniemy. Yeah,
I'm going to be. That's just ridiculous.
Yeah. How about before Brian Flores?
Yeah.
Brian Flores is a hell of a coach. He should be getting a job.
I'm really happy with the guy in Houston. I think D'Amico Ryan's doing a great job down there.
He's doing an outstanding job.
Yeah.
Outstanding job. All right, a couple more college things. Actually, 3 of them. Number 1, let's go to yours, Mike. Let's go to the one we talked about. You sent it out to us about the Michigan coach who basically – well, go ahead, Mike. You explain it.
Well, they've gotten in trouble or they're being investigated. They haven't gotten in trouble yet, but they're being investigated for having their staff buy tickets to away games in the Big Ten and apparently film signals. And then I don't know where this came about, but video came out today. We saw some video on Twitter that I shared with you guys, or X, sorry, that's showing their team watching. They're playing against Michigan. I'm sorry, Michigan's playing against Ohio State. They're watching Ohio State signals, and when Ohio State signals, they all give a signal to the defense like it's going to be a pass. And so there's that evidence. And then apparently, what is the guy's name?
Stallions.
Connor Stallions, who's going to be famous after this whole thing. He's actually got a sheet on the sidelines. It's like a cheat sheet of the signals. You can actually see it.
Yep.
Not good.
Not Italian Stallions. This is Connor Stallions.
With 1 L.
And Harbaugh, listen, guys, Harbaugh knows nothing about this. He will fully cooperate and do whatever to maintain his reputation.
He's not really Harbaugh. He's Slimeball. I'm not a fan of his. I don't mind his brother in Baltimore, but
John needs to slap Jimmy around and say, "Get your shit together."
I think Jimmy's the older brother, though.
It don't matter. John needs.
It doesn't matter.
John needs to slap Jimmy around. And say,
what do you guys think about stealing signals? So some coaches say, it's not off limits. Like if you're doing signals, and we have the right to watch your signals and see if we can steal them. What are your thoughts?
Mike, I don't think it's right. How about you?
I'm not for it at all. I think I have several things. I mean, if you're going to be signaling, then you're probably going to go fast. So you would have to steal the signal to the defense. The defense would have to see you and then set and then change and get to the right spot and all that before the ball snapped.
But
so I don't know how practical it is. Go ahead, T-Sis.
But that's why Stallions was buying these tickets for people to go watch these games ahead of time, get the signals. They're using the same signals, dummies, in the games against Michigan, and they were able to predict and call then, not in-game calling.
Well, no, they know, but you have to wait for them to signal before you can tell your. It happens fast. The other thing is, football's about execution, right? Like
you still have to execute, right?
Yeah, I don't know, man. Just coach your guys up. I think when you rely on stuff like that, sometimes you forget about the importance of technique and the fundamentals. So I'm not a fan of it at all. I know there are guys in the county that do it. I know they film certain people at the high school level, and they have them all written down, and they try and do the same thing defensively.
Anything to give you an edge, I guess. Yeah.
I don't know.
Nobody calls John out on that?
No comment.
John Harbaugh.
I love you, John.
John Harbaugh.
John Harbaugh, everybody.
Yeah. John Harbaugh.
Yes.
John Harbaugh. Hey, last thing I want to talk about before we do our picks is our guy up at Penn State, Franklin. He's a train wreck when it comes to playing legit teams, guys. And he's got a 10-year contract. Do you think that those people are okay with that? Because he's not going to get past Ohio State, Michigan. If he was going to get past Ohio State, this was the year to do it.
This was their shot. 100%. This was their shot.
So the Bowl's supposed to expand, next year or the year after that? So they'll probably qualify most likely because he had a couple of hell of recruiting classes. But can he win? Can this guy actually win when he gets to that point?
Don't you feel like he's getting the 4 and 5 star recruits? Like what's missing? What's the missing ingredient?
Well, I think it all starts with him being a snake oil salesman, and he could come in there and give you the talk and get you to go there, but then he turns these coaches over pretty quickly. Like these guys he's got coaching for him. How many offensive coordinators has he had? How many guys, position coaches, has he moved? He doesn't have any consistency from my perspective.
Some of that success, though, you can say the same about Saban, and that's just because they're winning so much, and then everybody wants his guys.
But his guys aren't going on to be head coaches, Mike. They're going on to do, they're making lateral moves. A lot of them make lateral moves.
Here's my theory. So, name the last NFL quarterback that played at Penn State that was a legit starter.
Kerry Collins.
Good call. I actually played against him in the Big 33.
There you go.
But that's a long time ago.
Yes.
As you can tell, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
He lit us up in the Big 33 too. But my point is, like, I don't know that they're getting that guy at quarterback. Like, they're not getting a Caleb Williams at quarterback. And why is that? Is it that people feel that it's more of a conservative offense, or why is it that Penn State can't land that guy, but it seems as though Ohio State constantly is getting those type of guys that are at least getting drafted, whether or not they're successful in the NFL.
So Rasheen must be done with his meeting, and he just chimed in. He said, are those guys legit 4 and 5 star guys? I don't know. How many 3-star guys, 2-star guys, no-star guys? Tyson, how do you say his last name, Mike?
Badgett.
Yeah, Tyson Badgett wasn't even. He was a 0-star guy, and he just won an NFL game on Sunday. So I don't give a shit what kind of star they have. If you can play football, you can play football.
I know the guys they have on their roster are legit. I don't know about their receiving core. I think their receiving core, to me, I don't know, maybe they're banged up, but they did not look explosive. But other than that, like, they're defensively, they got some dudes on defense. They have some really good players. Joey Porter Jr. last year was, he's
they have another corner there this year, but he shut his mouth off and said he was going to shut Marvin Harrison down. What Marvin Harrison did, right?
Yeah, he lit it up.
He put that kid in his place.
The O-lineman is, I can't pronounce his name, but
the offensive tackle.
Yeah, he's number 1 in the country.
Yeah.
They're getting guys. They have guys.
Yeah.
They have parts. I think the missing piece is that quarterback. And I am not sure. I'm just asking questions. Is it scheme? Is it a scheme thing, and the perception that you wouldn't go there if you want to be an NFL guy? I mean,
they're high on Drew Allar. They're very high on him. Right after this game ended, they said, "Oh, you're gonna call out Drew Allar just because he had one bad game." No, we're calling him out because the whole damn team lost against Ohio State again.
But it wasn't close. It wasn't close.
No, the guy who's really the stud. Like we had this conversation. I had this conversation with people on Facebook on Facebook on our page, Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maradei group. The guy's calling Caleb Williams a generational talent. Generational talents don't have the record that Caleb Williams has against top 25 teams, playing in huge programs with a head coach like Lincoln Riley.
I think it's to be determined on him. Jury's still out. I will say that. I think he's a great football player. To be determined. I'm not sold on him being the best guy in the last 10 years. I don't even know. Do you think Marvin Harrison, they're saying, I just read something today that said that an NFL receivers coach said he would have been a top 5 NFL receiver if he played in the NFL this year. I don't think I agree with that.
I haven't watched him enough to say that, but I know when I do watch him play, he can be pretty fucking uncontrollable.
Are you saying top 5 draft pick or top
5 receiver?
5 wide receiver in the NFL if he had played in the NFL this year.
Well,
I don't agree with that.
I don't either. He didn't come on. This is week 7, 8 for college. He didn't come on till the last couple, right? Or no, actually, I'm trying to think. I think, yeah. He had like 2 games that were just he had like 50 yards or something like that. Then the others were like 100, like what he had 160 this past week. He blew it up.
That's because the guy from Penn State talks shit on him.
I think he's a really, really good player. I'm not saying he's not a great player, but to be top 5 in the NFL, come on, man. Yeah. Tyreek Hill. I mean, there's some dudes, AJ Brown. Like, come on, really? He's better than AJ Brown. Like,
Rasheen said, incredible ball skills, but can he burn?
Can he? Exactly. Good question.
Yeah, the jury's out on that aspect of him, but he's going to be a top 5 pick. There's no question about that. He's a top 5 pick.
I'd be justified maybe if you don't need a quarterback and you're the first pick. Go ahead and take him. I think that's justified. But I just think it takes time to develop to be that good in the NFL.
And if he isn't, he could always work at his dad's car wash.
There it is. Is this car wash in Philly?
P&L Car Wash in Vanderbilt.
P&L Car Wash. Hey, let's do these picks this week, guys. Thursday night game, Tampa and Buffalo. Who you got?
It doesn't matter. I'm going
to lose. Buffalo.
Oh, let's take the Bills then.
Mike?
I'll go Buffalo as well.
Okay. First game on Sunday on this docket, the Rams at Dallas.
Ooh, I'm going Dallas.
Cowboys.
All right. Rasheen.
What'd he say?
He said, yes, his car wash is in Philly, and he killed a man there.
Oh, we're not going to talk about that, Rasheen.
He didn't do it.
We were trying to avoid that.
Come
hey, Rasheen,
on.
You like Buffalo or you like Tampa? We'll let you make that pick. Minnesota and Green Bay. What the hell, Green Bay?
I'm going with the Vikings.
Okay.
I don't know. It's a
Captain
love
Kirk.
loss. Yeah, it's a love loss there. Green Bay.
I'm going Vikings too. I'm a Kirk Cousins fan.
Their defense looks improved.
Yeah. Yeah. Rasheen's going Vikings. Mike, who you got? Vikings?
Yeah, I'm going to Minnesota.
All right. Hey, Atlanta, Tennessee.
Hot Atlanta.
I just like to say ATL.
That's what I'm going with. I kind of wish that Tennessee would win that, so the pressure's off of them playing Pittsburgh. But yeah, that's not going to happen.
Ooh, this next one. This actually be a good game.
Yeah. New England and Miami. New Orleans and Indianapolis.
Yeah, it's ooh.
That is a toughie.
What do you think?
It's in Indy.
Oof.
I'm going New Orleans. I'll be flat out honest.
Is Minshew still playing?
Yeah. Yep.
I'm gonna go New Orleans.
Okay. Rasheem with Indy.
I'm gonna go Indy also. I'm gonna go Indy.
Minshew Magic. That's not like Mike Magic.
Yeah. New England at Miami. I don't know if there's a question there. It's not going to be Mac Jones magic. Let me just tell you. Miami's going to play pissed off. Yeah,
Miami.
Machine, you in on Miami? Okay. Jets at the Giants.
Who's playing quarterback for the Jets?
Zach Wilson.
Is he still?
Yeah.
Well, Zachary.
Zach and Cody. I'm going to take the Jets. Their defense is too good for the Giants right now.
It's a home game for both because it's at the same stadium that they both play at.
Yeah.
Machine's going with his cousin.
I'm going Jets, Jets.
Actually, I am too.
Across the board.
Terry, who'd you say?
The Jets.
Jets. Jacksonville at Pittsburgh, guys.
Well, it worked last time. I might as well take. That's going to be toughy.
I'm going with the Jags.
Yeah.
I got
Jags. It is.
Rasheed, hit us with it when you got it.
Hey, getting us off track. When did the Jags of Germantown bring back the the Death March or whatever they call that?
Oh, Bucky brought that back. Coach Flip.
Did he?
Yeah.
We weren't allowed to play that. That was too intimidating or something.
Yeah. Yeah.
We were told we're not allowed to play that. That hurts people's feelings or something crazy.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. You guys weren't allowed to call it the black hole either, were you?
No.
We weren't allowed to change the thing on the side of the helmet, which was Tapley's, by the way. Philly at Washington.
This could be
Everybody's
an upset.
got to say Philly. No.
Philadelphia. I'm going to go with.
Is this an upset special, guys?
That's what I was thinking, but no.
The question is, how many sacks?
Carolina. Two rookie quarterbacks are going to face off.
I'm going to go with Houston.
Yep. I'm with Terry on that. T says Houston.
Yep.
After they beat the Steelers, they've been doing pretty darn good.
Cleveland at Seattle. Cleveland's going to Seattle.
I feel like Cleveland's going to have a letdown. I'm going to say Seattle. I feel like Cleveland's going to have a letdown.
I'm with you.
I'll take the Seahawks.
Rasheed, you all in on player of the year?
Oh, yeah, he went Cleveland.
He went with Cleveland.
Nice.
Kansas City at Denver.
Everybody's KC.
This could be your upset of the week. KC.
Okay.
I'll take KC.
Okay. Baltimore at Arizona.
Joshua Dobbs. Don't sleep on him, guys.
I'm telling you, it's not a bad football team. Arizona's not awful.
They're one player away.
What do you think?
I'll take Baltimore.
I feel like they're going to have a letdown in the desert. I'm going to go Arizona.
Letdown in the desert.
Mike, I'm with you.
Nuts.
I think this is the week that he gets hurt. I think this is the week he gets hurt. Yep.
They're going to roll that grass in off the parking lot, and he's going to
I just feel like this is it. It's getting to that time for him. It's getting to, and I'm not trying to taboo the kid. I like watching him play. I'll be honest with you. I'm a football fan, and I like watching that kid play. But I don't know.
It scares you. It scares you.
Huh?
It scares you as a football fan. As someone who loves, it just doesn't seem he should be running that much.
No, not as a quarterback in the NFL.
As a quarterback.
Cincy at Frisco.
Yeah, they've been looking pretty dismal. They turn it around. Where is it? It's at San Fran. I'll take the Niners.
Yeah, hey, I think they're going to be very motivated.
They're going to be motivated, but since he is coming off the bye week, right?
That doesn't matter.
If they want to do anything,
they're going to San Francisco.
So did Cleveland, didn't they? Or where's that game?
No, that was in Cleveland.
Was it?
Yeah. Yep.
Niners.
Last two, Chicago with the Chargers.
I'm going to go the Bears.
Yeah, I like the Bears.
with Tyson. What's his last name, Mike?
Badgett.
Badgett.
Just say Badgett.
I keep wanting to call him Badgett. Shane, who you got?
Frisco.
And next Monday night, this is going to be Vegas is going to Detroit.
What do you think?
I'm taking Detroit. I don't think they'll play an egg on this game.
I'll take the Lions.
Yeah,
Lions.
I don't see it happening.
It's in Detroit. Las Vegas is pretty bad. I'll go to Detroit also.
I need 2 picks for Shane. I need the Bears game, Bears and Chargers, and I need Detroit and Vegas. Hey, last week our numbers were freaking horrible, guys. Horrible. Watson had 2 wins. Rasheen had 7 wins. He was the big guy. Terry had 3, and I had 2, and Noobs wasn't on board. Right now,
I had 0.
Right now, with us picking, Watson has 22. Looks like Terry has 29. Noobs has 24. I have 24, and I got to get Rasheen's total because he's missed a few weeks. So
hey, I'll repick those games from last week. Let me put those in, and we'll be all right.
Yeah.
Hey, tell them how they can find you guys, okay?
Hey, if it was Twitter and used to tweet, and now it's X, what do?
You call it X tweet.
X
Post.
I don't know.
I think you post.
So it's like your former tweeter,
I guess.
X. You can find me on Instagram and the X at 1.
Find you on
I'm at Coach Noob on Instagram and X.
Yeah, I got you. Well, we all know we can find Rasheen. He's everywhere. Right now, I think he's up in Pittsburgh. You can find our Original Sports Podcast at podpage.com, Original Sports Podcast with Mark Maradei. Like our Facebook page, join our conversation on Twitter. Check us out on Snapchat. Those are all OSP with M&M. You can also follow us on Instagram, watch our TikToks, and check out our YouTube. All of that is Original Sports Podcast. Hey, reach out to us on originalsportspodcast@gmail.com. Let us know if you have any comments, questions, or anything about the show. Thanks to Sean and Koviak for being our voice intro guy. Big shout out to Charlie Hodgson for our opening music. Terry Maradei, thank you for doing the web. Join us next Wednesday at noon at the... I'm not going to tell them where we're going to be. To Experience EO on the Original Sports Podcast. Talk to you next week, everybody.
Deuces.